On Thursday, it was actually at a birthday dinner. I was telling her like what I was doing this, and she was like, "Just be sure to let them know like your story." So she wants just me to let my story is I was born in the Philippines. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll tell the story about my name, which is Munday, and it's always sort of a really funny name. Now we can get it all recorded. The Philippines is a series of islands, and I was being born in Manila, which is the capital and it's the main island. And my grandparents, my parents on my father's side, they were flying up from other islands. This is how terrible I am with the geography, though. But they were flying into Manila to be there while I was being born, and apparently I was a week late. And because I just wouldn't come out, I was doing my hair. I don't know what I was doing. I just was not ready to go. So then eventually they had to fly back, and apparently the story goes, as I was in the air, I was born, and they landed, and as soon as they landed, they got on the phone at the airport, and they called, and so what's the story? It's like, oh, he was born, and they made the joke. It's like, oh, I guess he wanted to be born on a Monday, and then that's how my name stuck, and I was both. My nickname Monday was with me, and then my real name Abelardo, because I'm a junior. So I've both had either Abelardo or Monday, has been with me for ever and ever. And I could attest to them their sort of struggles being in a new country, trying to raise all these kids, and their decisions to like I said earlier to. Should we assimilate or should we try to keep the sort of culture alive? And if I would say it was probably an 80-20 split, 80 to assimilate and 20 to try to keep the culture going. Because we would certainly have rice at every meal, and there was always, we would have the spaghetti and meatballs, but then we would also have the fish and rice, but it's sort of that is certainly where they kept a lot of the old home alive, was maybe not through speaking the language, but certainly through food. And I think that a lot of immigrants keep food as a way to sort of keep the traditions of the country that they left behind. And certainly food was number one. So they had their challenges. I certainly had my challenges, but I first and will always identify myself as a Filipino American, and it's funny. My kids identify themselves as Filipino Americans too, which is very interesting. I never sort of impress that upon them. I let them sort of choose that, but they identify themselves as Asian first. So I think that's very interesting. Yeah, I feel that we absolutely can celebrate who we are and where we came from, but to not let it obscure what we have as commonalities, And like I said, in America Days, a little cynical and a little too tied up in, these very strict silos that everyone wants to sort of put each other in. And nobody wants to talk it's okay to celebrate, where you came from, but also don't let it be so rigid that it defines you, and then everyone else on the outside of that, is intolerable or is against you. So I just wish people were a little more open to conversations, and even though sometimes the conversations might be uncomfortable and sort of not great, I think if we are just trying to seek truth to make everything better, so we're all on a level playing field, we can get there if we sort of don't silo ourselves and wrap ourselves strictly in our identities.